Alright, this is the MF Atlas that I use. I have 131 points instead of 132. I have an uncompleted map for some Karax shenanigans later in the league. We're doing Wandering Path, Magic Find. And look at the bottom here, we have the extra monsters from Strongboxes. I path over to Wellspring of Creation. It works quite well with Chieftain. One of the things about Chieftain, typically if you're using Defiance of Destiny, or if you're using Blood Notch, is that you are very good as long as you don't get one shot. So reducing the monster's damage by 25% helps this a lot. As you can see, it also gives the monsters extra life. This does not help Detonate Dead, but it does help the Chieftain explosions. Rather, it's like a push, if you will, where it's a non-issue. It does make your startup a little slower, because you have to, kill a monster that has 50% more life. But once you're running through Ignites, it makes no difference. It just makes you tankier. We take the Abyss Chance over here. We start clicking the Cryptic Gateways. We'll come back to that later. We head over to the right. I guess we'll go head over to the middle. We'll head over to the middle. We're going to be taking 7th Gate. You're going to use 7th Gate for a number of reasons. I personally use it for Delirium. Some people use it for Abyss. It kind of depends on your Scarabs and Sexants setup. You pick Wandering Path. This is like kind of the crux of the build, if you will. You're going to use it to increase the modifiers of your maps for extra quantity, rarity, pack size, and additional projectile. Talk more about that later. Take some of this Abyss stuff. You want more Abyss monsters, you want more Abyss Chance. Abyss is one of those mechanics where you can have multiple Abysses spawn in your map. So even if you're forcing Abysses onto your map, the natural spawn can still occur. It's very important. We have these chances to reopen your strongboxes. I use this to synergize with some of my Sexants and Scarabs. We path through the Harbinger because it's like the most efficient of the three here. You'll eventually kill some Harbs. You don't really care for the Harvest stuff. You don't really care for the Essence stuff. The main reason you're in this area is you want all this quantity and rarity, which is doubled by Wandering Path and then juiced by this too later. We path over to the right. You grab this one little node here for some Abyss Chance. I take Eldritch Altars. They tend to spawn more altars. You have a bunch of pack size stuff. You take Eldritch Gaze so that you have stronger altars. You want things like Currency Dupe, Unique Dupe, Div Dupe, just general quantity and rarity. These are all very good. Sneak down here for a little bit more Abyss monsters. Come up here for Eldritch Gateway. Once again, you need this for 7th Gate. You're going to take all of the nodes up here. All of these map modifier nodes. As I said, they're very good for quantity, rarity, and pack size, as well as increasing projectile count. You take this big old Abyss Snake up here. It causes you to spawn extra rare monsters. It causes you to spawn extra magic monsters. It causes you to spawn extra Abysses. It's quite good. As you have spare points, maybe you don't have a full Atlas, you can kind of skip some of this stuff, but once you have an Atlas later, you're going to want to be picking up these Ritual Altars Chance. Doing the Rituals, I would recommend it because they do drop loot, but it's mostly that the Rituals themselves spawn a bunch of monsters, so I would take it. You're going to take all this Beyond quantity. You do kill quite a few Beyond monsters. It's good for general dropped, it's good for tainted currency. Once again, more Ritual Chance. You want these Beyond nodes here that increases the amount of Beyond you're going to get by assisting the merging radius. You absolutely need Endless Tide. If you're going to do Beyond farming, you need Endless Tide, or otherwise you're going to spawn a boss fairly early and you're going to lose your Beyond. Very annoying. Take a little bit more Ritual Chance here. Take Endless Delirium. If you are not confident in being able to finish your map using Endless Delirium, then I would instead take more Delirium Fog Dissipate slower, so that you have the ability to progress through your map, while still having Delirium Fog, but can also remove it if you need to. Otherwise, take Endless Delirium. We go down here, once again, this is a bunch of things with the Beyond Portal merging mechanic to just spawn more monsters. We take a Gateway, and we take some Ritual Chance. And I believe that is it. Yeah. I can show my Sexants and Scarabs too in this same clip. I mean, it's going to be a long-ass clip, but... I have corrupted 3 additional strongboxes, elevated mod, enraged strongboxes, elevated, these are all elevated, elevated beyond, and elevated abyss. This causes 2 abyss, this causes 35% beyond pack size. Causes 600% quantity instead of 500%, and this is an additional box. My Scarabs are Winged Ambush to go with the Enraged Strongbox strategy, Divination, Reliquary. These are pretty stock. You always use Divination, Reliquary. A lot of the things that you're hunting this league are conversion drops from rare monsters, and these boost them quite a bit. Well, this boosts it quite a bit. This is just really good for div cards. And then Abyss. You want to be using at least Gilded Abyss, because Gilded Abyss, I can show you here, if we open it up real quick. We look at Abyss Scarabs, so this causes an Abyss to spawn. Causes an Abyss to spawn with more monsters. More monsters is phenomenal. That's huge. This causes an Abyss to spawn with more monsters, but also has a very important line at the end there that says Abysses in the area that do not lead to an abyssal depth, which is the majority of them, lead to a Stygian Spire instead. This is where we talked about earlier having extra projectile modifiers. The Wisp imbuement from the Wildwood will give monsters extra projectiles. You can also see you can roll extra projectiles on your maps. The Spire at the end of an Abyss will shoot out these mortar-like projectiles that crash into the ground and open up pits, from which a bunch of rare monsters will spawn. If you give them extra projectiles, every time they shoot out those mortars, they will shoot out additional mortars, which will all spawn additional monsters. It's a very important part of the strategy. But that's like my atlas and everything right now.